Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Rob, your humble Cabinet Vision guide. And today we're going to be taking a look at the reports section inside of Cabinet Vision. I'm in 2024, but it should look pretty similar going back through some of the earlier versions. So I made a generic room or job with two rooms, a kitchen and a laundry room, and I just drug some random cabinets. So nothing special there. So let's get into the reports section. So if I click the reports, I am greeted with some options over here. Just to kind of throw it out at the get-go, I personally don't use most of these. I only use two of them, which is the report center and the assembly sheets. Um, but I'm going to go through all of these to the best of my ability and tell you what I do know about them. So there's some things that I might get a little wrong, and feel free to correct me if I do get something wrong. The first one we're going to take a look at is order entry. So if I click order entry, not a whole lot changes from that screen, but essentially what order entry is it allows you to drag cabinets into the entry, and you can build out an order entry, and it does not add the cabinets to your scene or anything, but you can build out an entry like if you were going to print it out and send it to someone else to make the cabinets and whatnot. So to give you an example, I can drag a cabinet out here and it adds it, and you can see the icons different, tells you what it is. You can make some dimensional changes. And again, this is just it's just basically like you're building out kind of a spreadsheet. Um, depending on what part of the industry you work in, you might need this. Like if you're at a job site, maybe you could, have a laptop and you can build out your entry while someone's kind of telling you what they want, and then you can take that and later build out the room. I personally do not use this, but I can see how it would be handy depending on what part of the industry you work in. Again, these only exist here, so if I go to my plan and my elevation, I don't see them. So it's just inside order entry, um, and that's about it there. You can delete them. Right click, get the wheel. So that's pretty much the basics there. If there's anything else here that I missed, feel free to let me know. So if we go back, the next one on the list is Bid Center. And I'm going to be perfectly honest, I know nothing about Bid Center. In fact, I know, but what I do know is that it can be very complicated and it's intricate to set up. And I did spend several hours with a I guess like an instructor, you could say, with Cabinet Vision, trying to go over the ins and outs of Bid Center and if it's something that would work for us. And it ended up being just, it was too complicated, and they kind of recommended me to maybe not use this because uh, just from the limited knowledge I have, I will say if Bid Center is something that you do want to implement, you're going to spend a lot of time setting it up, and you're going to have to really learn um, how to use it, because there's different channels, so to speak, that you can choose to utilize. And if you're not inputting all your pricing information in the right channels, it's going to get convoluted, and you're going to end up with calculations and numbers that are not gonna they're not gonna be what you want. So again, I don't know much about it, but I do know it is a big it's kind of a separate program in itself. So if any of you are watching it and you do have experience, yeah, send a comment, so kind of your experience with it, if it's good, if it's bad, if it's easy, complicated, whatever. um, so moving on to the report center, this is something that I use all the time. In fact, I use report center in the assembly sheets on a daily basis. So if we take a look at the report center, over here I have a list, and this is going to be pretty specific to me, kind of. But if you do cabinets, you're probably going to need similar lists. And we can see up here we've got a drop down that says group, report group, and then we've got a list underneath it. And so I only have one set up. And so with that selected, we can see we have a cabinet list. If I click on this, it's going to give me a list of all the cabinets in that room and then some information with it. And then this section over here, comment. In this comment, if I go back to my plan view and let's say this cabinet, I right click, I put go to comments and let's say paint the bottom. In the comments, I hit OK. If I go back to reports, report center, and my cabinet list, that's where that comment is going to populate. So if you send this to somebody, or if you're the one creating the jobs and then it flows through the plant or shop or whatever, that's where you can fill out specific information and it populates as a comment. The door cut list, drawer cut list, face frame cut list, panel stock, these are all going to generate cut lists based on the actual cabinet that's drug in. So it's basically saying, like, this is set up for a regular face frame cabinet, and it knows, Cabinet Vision knows like how much, like when you make your adjustments, your width, it knows how much the length of the face frame you're going to need, and so it'll dimension it out by parts into a cut list, so that way you can take it and give it to your shop guy, or if you're doing it, and it will provide you a list of all the parts, and then you can choose different group options with how the information is displayed, which I'll get into here in a second. And then you can use these reports to start building the cabinets. And it also has how you set up the job as well. Some of that information will populate. So how do you get this set up? So if you have a brand new program, I don't really remember, this might be all empty. So if it's all empty, you have this option here called Setup Reports. And so if we click Setup Reports, we can see that we have KBC reports, and there's a lot of stuff in here. You're probably like, what the heck is all this stuff? It's not that bad, I promise. So let's go over here and we're going to add a new group, and let's call this Rob's group. And we're going to hit OK. And you can see we can check and uncheck here. So this is kind of where a little griping, like this is not the most intuitive method of selecting it, and it can be, it's a great program, but it is one of my gripes. It's just this is not the most like well thought out aspect of it. But that being said, so these check marks here, think of them as like your on and off switches for these various components. And so you can see how most of them are grayed out, but some of them are lit up green. If they're lit up green, it means that they are being utilized in one or more of these groups. It doesn't tell you which one. Well, it does right here. You can see in the KBC reports, but it's just saying it is used in one of the groups. And so you can click it, nothing happens. You can right click it. You don't want to delete it, but you can change some stuff around it. But yeah, if you click groups, it'll show you all the active groups. And those are all the active groups that I have inside of KBC reports. So to get them in the groups, this is where it gets kind of unintuitive for me. So let's say we come down here to door cut list. We have all these options. Let's say we know that we're going to build doors for one, and so we know we're going to need a cut list. So there's all these options for cut list over here, and if you go to the right side, it has some information about how that cut list is going to display the information. So the first one is it includes panels, styles, and rails. Pretty straightforward. The next one down, it includes panel styles and rails, and then it'll give you a RIP summary in feet and meters at the bottom, which is how, your linear feet probably. You can keep going and you can read them and kind of get the point. It's basically saying like, which door cut list do you want? Because bundled inside that list is going to be a different way it's going to display the information. Some are going to say like this. You want the parts sorted by length first and then width. Um, Summary display part operations, rip with the summary, rip summary in feet and meters. So you got to go through there. Let's see what I have. So my door cut list, it says cut list includes panels, stiles, and rails. Parts are sorted by length and width. Okay. So let's say we want this one. All right. So how in the world do I get it into this group? Well, you click it and then you check this box. And that's like turning the light switch on to that parameter. And now it says Rob's group. So I could do that to another one. It is turning it on. And if I don't want it, I turn it off. And let's say I don't want that one, I turn it off. So you just got to think of like this is like in whatever group is highlighted that you activate the checkbox, that's where it's going to tag it in. So let's say I know I want this particular door list. I'm going to hit Rob's group. Let's say I go down and I'm just going to pick a random one. The drawer cut list. Let's say we don't want a banding code. Let's just say sorted by width and length. I turn that on. Same, do this face frame. We'll turn it on. So now if I go back, now I have the option to select Rob's group, and it gives me these lists, so to speak. So what I would recommend, and it's what I did, is I just went and experimented. I went into I knew which ones I needed, and I assigned them all to it, and then I just click and see which one displays the information the best way that makes sense to me, and then I delete all the other ones out of it. So it's pretty simple. But yeah, so just remember that you hover over the one you want, and then you check it or uncheck it. And I don't know why. I just think that's a very intuitive way to do it, but that's just my opinion. So what do I know? Um, so anyway, so then you can delete, like if I don't want Rob's group, I can delete Rob's group. And there we go. So now we're back to just the KBC. And then you got print reports and group. So it'll kind of print everything out. So yeah, so this is what I use personally to to send out to my guys, and so they use these lists to get everything they need. So pretty simple. Can be kind of a lot going through it the first time, but really just kind of get in there and mess with it, and it's I promise it's not too bad. Okay, so the next one we have plan and elevation sheet, and I do not use this at all. But what I do know is that you can, so if I cancel this out, if I go to my drawings, I have nothing set up in my drawings. And I believe what this will do is that I can select all or select part of them. It tells you what room they are, what view. And I can either print those out or I can send them to drawings. And it should, I think it ignores the first page for some reason. I don't know why it does that, but then it will send them to drawings. But the only thing that I can't figure out, and I tried to figure out, is how to change and edit the floor plans. So if there's in the wall elevation, so just how to add a new scene. I tried everything and I cannot figure it out. This allows you to select and deselect the different like if you wanted only the plan views, only the elevation views, whatever views you have here will populate. And but yeah, that's just a way that you can send it to the drawings, or you can print it out. Assembly sheets, I also use these. You can add templates for what you want, but basically this will print out a large picture of each cabinet front on to the printer, and it'll have some, I have it set up to have a certain amount of information, but basically you will get one page per one cabinet. I went and got a printout of what it looks like. So if I print out an assembly sheet, it comes out like this. So just one cabinet, um, all the information, or it's got certain information that I want displayed, and then yeah. So that's pretty much, and you can send those to the drawings as well. But so I use this, I use these two a lot. Now the part sheet, pretty self-explanatory. Basically, you're going to print out, it's going to be parts. So let's say if I pick the first one, we can say to drawing, and let's go to the ones where it says part sheet. All right, so the part sheet is going to print out each individual part that makes up that cabinet. And so you can either print it out, you can send it to drawings and whatever. You can do it for all the cabinets. But yeah, that's pretty much what I know about that. So um, hopefully this was enough to kind of get you going. I know that there's stuff in there that I probably missed. I only use my day to day. I only use just a small fraction of it, but hopefully hopefully this does provide some light, if you guys are out there kind of clicking through trying to figure things, because I know how frustrating sometimes it can be when you're trying to get something set up but you don't exactly know where to where to go to find things or set it up. You know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. If there's any insight that you guys have that I didn't cover or that I missed or that I said wrong, please let me know, because it's all about learning, so we can all get good at this program, because it's great. It's just, it can be a lot. That being said, I hope you guys have a great day, wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next video.